Have you ever been overwhelmed by the dinosaur world in Jurassic World? The giant beasts, the roars that shook the screen, made us imagine an era where humans lived alongside the greatest predators on the planet. If you think humans are the greatest and most enduring creatures to ever walk the earth, you probably haven't heard this number. Dinosaurs have been on the planet for 167 million years, while modern humans, Homo sapiens, have only been around for about 200,000 years. That difference is not just a dry statistic, but a humbling reminder of our true place in Earth's history. Imagine, if Earth's history were compressed into a single 24-hour day, dinosaurs would appear at 10 a.m. and become extinct around 11:40 p.m. Humans, meanwhile, have only been around for 23 hours, 59 minutes, 56 seconds. That's right, just the last few seconds. The entire history of human civilization, ancient, medieval, and modern, takes up just a tiny blink of an eye compared to the length of life on this planet. We often boast about our achievements in science, technology, modern cities, and the explosion of digital civilization. But the truth is, everything we know, from writing, to the wheel, to electricity, to the internet, happened in the last moments of Earth's history. Dinosaurs, on the other hand, walked, hunted, evolved, and died out over a period of hundreds of times longer than the entire history of mankind. The point is, despite their longevity and domination of the planet, dinosaurs were eventually wiped out by a meteorite event 66 million years ago, something that was beyond the control of any living creature. And us? Humans face threats not only from nature, but also from ourselves: nuclear war, climate change, out-of-control artificial intelligence, global pandemics, all of which we ourselves have created. So the question is, can we survive as long as the dinosaurs? Or will it self-destruct before it reaches the next millennium? Today's video takes you on a journey of comparison between two species millions of years apart. One that ruled the Earth for 167 million years, and one that has just appeared but has changed the entire planet. This comparison is not meant to belittle humans, but to open up a humble, scientific, and thoughtful perspective. Let's begin the journey. The age of dinosaurs. 167 million years of rule. Dinosaurs are not just giant creatures that existed in movies. They were real entities that dominated the Earth for an unimaginably long period of time, about 167 million years. From the Triassic period, about 245 million years ago, to the end of the Cretaceous period, about 66 million years ago. During this time, dinosaurs not only survived, but also evolved continuously, dominating every environment, from land, sea, to sky. This long existence is divided into three main periods in geological history: the Triassic, the Jurassic, and the Cretaceous. Each period marked important steps in the evolution of dinosaurs. In the Triassic, the first dinosaurs such as Eoraptor began to appear. During the Jurassic period, prominent species such as Brachiosaurus, Stegosaurus, or Allosaurus flourished, starting the peak period in terms of numbers and size. In the Cretaceous period, dinosaurs reached their final peak with species such as Tyrannosaurus rex, Triceratops, or Velociraptor, symbols of power and biodiversity. The amazing thing is, dinosaurs are not just a few prominent species, but an extremely diverse group of creatures with more than 1,000 named species, and this number continues to increase as new fossils are discovered every year. Some species are only a few meters long, gentle herbivores, while others are more than 30 meters long and weigh up to tens of tons like Argentinosaurus, the largest land creature that ever existed. In fact, many scientists believe that modern birds are the direct descendants of feathered dinosaurs, meaning that dinosaurs are still living among us in another form. During those millions of years, dinosaurs had no real rivals. No other species could compete with them in terms of numbers, range, and adaptability. They adapted to the hot climate, the rich vegetation, and the constantly changing geology of the Earth. Some species migrated thousands of kilometers with the seasons, some developed the ability to fly, while others had extremely powerful self-defense weapons, such as horns, spikes, and clubbed tails. The dominance of dinosaurs was so long that, compared to humans, the entire history of humanity would have been a blink of an eye in the time that dinosaurs lived. A simple comparison: if dinosaurs lived for 167 million years and humans only lived for 200,000 years, then dinosaurs lived more than 800 times longer than modern humans. This raises an undeniable truth. Dinosaurs were the most successful group of creatures in the history of the Earth in terms of longevity. Although there was no language, no technology, no great works left behind, it was the amazing adaptation to nature and stability over tens of millions of years that was the clearest proof of longevity. And it was that stability that made the extinction of the dinosaurs such a shocking event. How could a species that had dominated the Earth for nearly 200 million years disappear in the blink of a geological eye? That question will open a new chapter in the video, but before we get there, remember one thing. Dinosaurs are not myths, but the clearest symbols of the prosperity and collapse of life on this blue planet. Humans, the latecomers in Earth's history. If dinosaurs are a symbol of the longevity of primitive life, modern humans, Homo sapiens, are the embodiment of a short-lived explosion of knowledge. But don't let that remarkable development mislead you about our temporal position. In fact, humans have only just budding on Earth, a rookie in a billion-year history. According to genetic and archaeological research, Homo sapiens appeared about 200,000 to 300,000 years ago in Africa. But even this number is just a pale shadow compared to the 167 million years of dinosaur existence. While dinosaurs have lived through 3 major geological epochs, the entire history of humans, from the Stone Age, Bronze Age, Iron Age to modern times, is contained in just the last few thousand years. A more specific comparison: if we compress the entire 4.5 billion year history of the Earth into a 24-hour day, then the first simple life appeared at 4 a.m., dinosaurs appeared at 10 a.m., and became extinct around 11:40 p.m. Humans only appeared in the last 4 seconds before midnight. In fact, the entire human civilization, including ancient Egypt, Rome, China, science, industry, technology, has only existed for less than 6,000 years. Compared to the 167 million years of dinosaurs, we are like a flash in the middle of a storm, short-lived and easily forgotten from a geological perspective. What sets humans apart, however, is not the length of our existence, but the speed of our intellectual evolution. In just the last few hundred years, we have created electricity, the internet, airplanes, spaceships, decoded our genome, developed artificial intelligence, and begun to set foot in outer space. The speed of human intellectual evolution far exceeds that of any species that has ever existed, including the dinosaurs. But that is also a double-edged sword. Rapid development without stability in ethics, environment, and ecosystems is putting humans in danger, something that dinosaurs never created. While dinosaurs lived for hundreds of millions of years without destroying their habitat, it took humans only 100 years of industrialization to plunge the planet into climate crisis, ocean pollution, and resource depletion. That is the greatest paradox of modern civilization. The faster we develop, the greater the risk of collapse. And in that race for time, humans are still newbies. We are not the final pinnacle of life, but just a short chapter in a billion-year-old book called Earth. The question is, will this chapter last, or will it be flipped over as quickly as many other dominant creatures before it? Throughout its billions of years of existence, the Earth has been constantly changing. And one thing is for sure, this planet has never been kind to any living species, even the longest-lived empires. From dinosaurs to ancient civilizations, everything eventually had to bow to the laws of nature. Laws that are merciless, unforgiving, and completely indifferent. Consider the case of the dinosaurs. After 167 million years of survival and dominance, they were almost completely wiped out in a single geological event, the Chicxulub meteor impact some 66 million years ago. This impact created an explosion equivalent to billions of atomic bombs, releasing dust and ash into the atmosphere, collapsing the food chain, blocking sunlight for many years. The result? More than 75% of living species, including most of the dinosaurs, disappeared. There was no warning, no chance to fight back. No hero is strong enough to save the ecosystem. The Earth has watched indifferently as a biological empire that existed for hundreds of millions of years collapsed in just a few geological years. And this is not the first time the planet has done this. History has recorded at least 5 mass extinctions: the Ordovician Silurian extinction, 443 million years ago, caused by global glaciation; the Devonian event, wiped out most marine life; the Permian Triassic extinction, 252 million years ago, the largest disaster, destroying 96% of life; the Triassic-Jurassic extinction, 201 million years ago, paved the way for the dinosaurs to appear; and finally, the Cretaceous-Paleogene extinction, ending the age of dinosaurs. Every extinction is a natural purge, where the weak are eliminated and the strong are forced to adapt if they don't adapt quickly enough. The Earth doesn't care if you're ancient or super intelligent. If you break the ecological balance, the consequences are inevitable. The problem is, modern humans are recreating the conditions that led to extinction, but this time, we're creating them. The rate of greenhouse gas emissions, loss of biodiversity, deforestation, ocean pollution, melting ice caps, and rising sea levels are triggering tipping points that scientists call points of no return. Even more frightening, the Earth doesn't need to explode or be hit by another asteroid to eliminate humans. Just continued climate change, widespread famine, rising sea levels, and more frequent global pandemics, that's enough to bring down any modern civilization. From this perspective, Earth is not a place that humans own, but a temporary place, and this home has repeatedly cut the contract with its former inhabitants. Are we going down the same path as those who once thought they were invincible? Can humans survive as long as dinosaurs? After witnessing dinosaurs rule for 167 million years, then become extinct in a geological moment, the question is, can humans, the fast and dangerous newcomers, survive that long? The answer is not a pleasant one, because it depends not on intelligence, but on the ability to control, adapt, and live in harmony with the Earth. Something that humanity is still struggling with. In terms of biological potential, Homo sapiens is not the strongest species. We do not have claws, scales, speed, or the ability to survive in the wild, like wild animals. But what makes humans stand out is intelligence, the ability to imagine, organize societies, learn and pass on experiences from generation to generation. Thanks to that, from a nomadic species, humans have built cities, nations, explored the universe, and decoded their own genes in just a few thousand years. However, that same intelligence is pushing humanity into a precarious situation. We are not threatened by asteroids, volcanoes, or ice ages, but by the consequences created by humans: climate change due to greenhouse gas emissions, environmental pollution beyond natural absorption, severe loss of biodiversity, nuclear weapons and war technology, artificial intelligence out of control. Global pandemics can appear at any time. An obvious paradox: modern humans are more powerful than any creature that has ever existed, but also vulnerable to that same power. No previous species has possessed the ability to destroy entire ecosystems in just a few centuries like humans. And the most dangerous thing is, we know we are destroying the planet, but lack the collective motivation to stop. While the dinosaurs were wiped out by an external force, an asteroid, humans are facing an internal self-extinction, by eroding the very foundations of our existence: land, water, atmosphere, trust, and even social morality. But there is hope, because no species has ever been able to self-reflect, organize global relief, invest in clean energy, explore extraterrestrial life, and forge treaties to protect life like humans. We are not perfect, but we are capable of recognizing our mistakes and of taking action to correct them. Advances in synthetic biology, green technology, renewable energy, and global education can help us escape the cycle of extinction that history has repeated. However, the key is not technology, but collective will. If humanity continues to pursue infinite growth on a finite planet, a dinosaur-like existence will remain unthinkable. We don't need 167 million years to prove our worth, but we need at least the next few thousand years to prove that intelligence does not lead to self-destruction. So the question, can humans survive as long as the dinosaurs, is not just a matter of time, but a test of ethics, science, and cognition. If we can outlast ourselves, we may not only outlast the dinosaurs, but also open a new chapter for life beyond Earth. If we don't, we will be just a footnote in the great epic of our blue planet. Looking back at the 167 million years of dinosaurs, what remains is not just the overwhelming sense of time or size, but also a profound lesson of humility for modern humans. A species that lived so long, was so strong, dominated the world so completely, was eventually completely wiped out. And that shows, prosperity does not mean immortality. Dinosaurs had no technology, no war, no environmental destruction. They lived by natural instinct, in harmony with the rotation of the Earth. Yet just one cosmic upheaval, a falling meteorite, was enough to blow away the entire ecosystem they relied on. The Earth does not need to hate, just change, enough to eliminate an entire biological empire. This sets an important message for humans. We are not as big as we think. Despite flying into space, decoding genes, creating AI, and mapping the universe, we still rely on a thin layer of atmosphere less than 10 kilometers thick that surrounds our planet. Even a small imbalance in the natural cycle is enough to threaten all life. Yet humans often forget that, in their illusion of control and domination. If dinosaurs are evidence of a golden age that has been buried, humans are evidence of a short but chaotic time. We live faster, consume faster, and create consequences faster than any creature that has ever existed. But perhaps it is precisely because of this shortness of time that we need to learn humility from the past. Be humble because we walk on a planet that has witnessed 5 mass extinctions. Be humble because every breath we take is thanks to the ecosystem we are damaging. Be humble because no species is guaranteed to survive, and the Earth will not wait to remind us of that again. Humility here does not mean pessimism or resignation. It means waking up, recognizing our place in the vast universe, and acting with responsibility instead of illusion. When we stop thinking of ourselves as masters and start living as part of the ecosystem, then perhaps humans will be the first species that Earth does not eliminate because of disproportion. The lesson from the dinosaurs is this: time may erase all physical traces, but it also leaves silent warnings for those who come after. And if we listen, the past will not be just a relic, but a guide to the future, a warning. Dinosaurs lived for more than 167 million years, then became extinct in a geological moment. Humans have been around for less than 300,000 years, but have created a brilliant civilization. However, that brilliance may be just a flash before it goes out, if we do not wake up in time. The scary thing is not that we have less time than dinosaurs, but that we may end ourselves sooner than nature can do it. Unlike dinosaurs, we are conscious. We have the ability to predict the future, recognize the consequences, and change course. But to do that, we need a shift in awareness, from arrogance to humility, from consumption to conservation, from selfishness to symbiosis. The story of the dinosaurs is not just for children, not just for blockbuster movies, but to remind adults, Every empire has its end if it loses its balance, and this planet, which has buried people who lived for hundreds of millions of years, will not hesitate to do the same thing again. So, if you are listening to these lines, do not take this as just an entertaining video. Take it as a gentle but profound warning that we are at a crossroads. Continue as before, and shorten our existence, or act for the future, and open the longest chapter of humanity. Please share this video if you think it is worth spreading. Leave a comment. What do you think is the biggest risk to the survival of humanity? And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on different profound perspectives on the planet we live on. Because, if no one reminds us, we might forget. We are just latecomers, and time is a test that not all species are strong enough to go to the end.